The Toons from Dandy's world each have distinct personalities and traits that set them apart from one another, which makes it easy to imagine how they would behave in different situations. But what would happen if those unique characteristics were swapped between some of them? What would Finn be like with Shrimpo's traits, or Brusha with Tisha's? Thanks to the designs we're about to see in this tape, we can explore these kinds of role swaps between them, completely changing how we know our favorite Toons. So let's begin. SilverPawz is the creator behind the following designs, which also come with entirely new names due to their personality changes. Tegan and V. In this swap, Tegan leaves behind her original version and becomes Coffeelin, a much more elegant and self-assured figure. Not only does her name change, but her role shifts as well, as she becomes the host of her own show. Her design strongly reinforces this new identity. She wears a black shirt paired with a tie, a vest, and pants in different shades of yellow, creating a very striking contrast. One detail that definitely stands out is that she now has a prosthetic on her foot, shaped like a white shoe, which gives her a unique and distinctive touch. On top of that, her confident expression, along with her dark glasses and golden earrings, fully built the image of someone who is completely in control of the situation. On the other hand, V keeps her name, but her personality takes an interesting turn. She now presents herself as much calmer and more composed, which is almost reflected in her design. She wears a green dress with long gloves of the same color, along with a necklace and a white shawl with a sharp, pointed design that gives her an elegant yet slightly intimidating appearance. Shrimpo and Finn. Here we have one of the most interesting swaps since their personalities are almost completely reversed. Shrimpo is now called Shrouder, adopting an attitude that is the total opposite of his original one. He becomes a cheerful, friendly shrimp who is always willing to help other Toons. His design reinforces his new vibe as well. He wears an orange Lifebuoy, a shirt, and black pants, along with brown boots and gloves. He also has a pair of antennas sticking out of his head, which makes him even more expressive. In contrast, Finn transforms into Frank, and this change is much darker. He's now a fishbowl with a rough and aggressive personality. His expression is completely different, showing sharp teeth that give him a more intimidating look. One of his eyes is covered with bandages, which also hide a few cracks in his fishbowl, suggesting that he has gone through some pretty harsh situations. Additionally, he has modified his own appearance, creating fins on his head with his own hands. His clothing reinforces this rebellious attitude. A black shirt with a skull, a brown and white jacket, brown pants, black shoes, and bandaged hands, completing a design that conveys wear and toughness. Connie and Blot. Blot is now known as Gaster, and although he keeps his characteristic black color, his essence changes completely. Instead of being made of ink, he is now a ghost, which gives him a much more mysterious presence. His style leans toward a gothic aesthetic, with dark clothing, a cross-shaped earring, a white shirt with a skull pendant, and multiple black accessories that reinforce this look. Meanwhile, Connie transforms into Glob, now taking on a form entirely made of ink. Her design is very different, her hair is more rounded, and her legs turn into tentacles, giving her a very distinct silhouette. On top of that, her role as a mime gives her a very particular personality. She wears white face paint, a red beret and scarf, along with a striped shirt and a skirt with suspenders. Her white gloves complete the look perfectly. Channel after channel, nothing worth watching until you find something different. The best Dandy's World ideas are out there, but they're not always easy to find. That's why we bring them straight to you. Subscribe and don't miss a single one. Rudy and Coco. In this case, the swap introduces a more festive theme, but with some interesting contrasts. Coco becomes Harpy, a Christmas-themed bunny who conveys a more shy and reserved personality. Her fur combines brown and white tones, and she wears mistletoe-shaped earrings, reinforcing her festive aesthetic. On the other hand, Rudy transforms into a completely different version. Choco. Now he is an Easter deer. His antlers lose the Christmas texture they previously had, and his design feels lighter and more spring-like. Unlike Harpy, this character appears more energetic, even restless, and he always carries a white flower representing this holiday. Roger and Brightne. This swap is especially creative as Roger's investigator role is passed over to Brightne. Now, Brightne becomes Lynette, a toon with the appearance of a street lamp. Her outfit is quite elegant. She wears a pearl necklace, a hat, a trench coat, a blouse and a skirt in different shades of violet, along with brown boots and white gloves. She always carries a briefcase, which adds a lot to her role as a private investigator. Meanwhile, Roger becomes Melville, a character who conveys insecurity and nervousness. His design is more formal, with a white shirt, purple vest and tie, blue pants and black shoes. Due to his role change, it's likely that Melville would now be in charge of the library. An interesting detail is that, as a monocle, he is always dragging a golden chain, adding a small visual touch that makes him more memorable. Goob and Scraps. When the personalities of these siblings are swapped, the result is quite interesting, since not only their attitudes change, but also how they are visually perceived. On one side, we have Patch, who now takes on a much more adorable form. She is a plush kitten with a button eye and fur that looks soft, clearly made to be hugged, along with her pair of long arms. She wears a red dress with a yellow star, a simple but very eye-catching design. In contrast, Crumbs is practically the opposite. His body is made from a mix of materials like cardboard, paper, and springs, giving him an improvised appearance, as if he had been assembled from whatever was available. His head is a box with his face drawn in crayon, giving him a very unique expression. He wears a paper cape with a bell, and his limbs are completely uneven, each one made from different materials and shapes. His tail ends in a red plastic cup. Toodles and Pebble. Now, the small toon becomes Rocco, a rock with a lot of personality. He wears a gray cap, a white shirt, and black shorts. An interesting detail is the flowers drawn on his cheeks, which directly connect to Pebble's original design. On the other hand, the pet role is taken by Puddle, who is now an 8-ball. His design is quite simple, but that works in his favor. His gaze gives off a constant sense of distraction, as if he is always lost in his own world. His legs are a light gray tone, and he has a small round black tail. Tisha and Brusha. We know that Tisha and Brusha don't get along, which makes this role swap even more interesting. In this case, Tisha becomes Tinter, taking on Brusha's role. She turns into a major paint roller, which already marks a major visual difference. Her outfit is more practical. She wears a blue sweater with a large star on it, brown pants, boots, and a white apron. The blue stain on her face and apron reinforce the idea of constant work, as if she is always in the middle of a task. Meanwhile, Brusha becomes Dustella, taking on Tisha's role. She is now a duster, but unlike her original version, her attitude changes significantly, becoming much more positive. She wears a headscarf, round earrings, and a purple-made outfit that perfectly matches her new function. This change not only affects her design, but also the energy she gives off, making her much more friendly than before. Glisten and Shelly. Finally, we have one of the swaps that plays the most with both aesthetics and personality. Valerie is now an antique square mirror, and her design makes it clear from the start that she has a very strong personality. She gives off a sense of elegance, but also superiority. She wears a brown blouse and skirt paired with a beige bow and white boots, creating a more subdued color palette that reinforces her character. On the other hand, we have Fossilin, a fossil stone that brings a much more wild contrast. Her design includes visible bones on her head, a small fang sticking out, and a pair of horns. Despite that, she also has modern elements such as pink goggles, a white shirt, a pink jacket, and beige pants. We can also see her sharp claws, creating a very unique character. After seeing all of these designs, I would really like to see what the swapped roles between